This AP Calculus example is telling us that we've got a vertical line x equals 3, and they're telling us it's an asymptote for the graph of our function f right here. And they're asking us which of the following statements must be, and be careful on this one because really sometimes they'll slide one of these in on you. Normally they ask which of the following statements must be true. This one is saying which of the following statements must be false. So basically 4 of these can be true, must be true, or and one of them is absolutely 100% false. And so as we look through this, the first thing we want to do is when somebody's talking to us about a vertical asymptote, we just need to know what is the definition of a vertical asymptote. So vertical asymptotes are when the answer to a limit problem from the left or the right or overall. So the limit as x approaches some number from the left, the limit as x approaches some number from the right, or the limit as x approaches a thing overall, that the answer to all of these is plus or minus infinity. And so a vertical asymptote means that the answer to the limit problem has to be plus or minus infinity. So when we look through here right now with that idea in mind, we can kind of see real fast that A is basically giving us one of those definitions. It's saying limit as x approaches 3 of f of x equals infinity. That's an overall limit headed to infinity, and that is the definition of a vertical asymptote. So that one would be true. So that's not our good answer. Same with B. It doesn't matter which direction it goes. The limit as x approaches 3 just needs to head to plus or minus infinity. And this is another overall limit. And so this would also be a true statement. Then looking at option C, it's saying the overall limit at x approaches 3 equals 0. Well, you're not going to have an overall limit. You could have a one-sided limit with a vertical asymptote. I could come in from the left-hand side or the right-hand side, and I could end up equaling 0. But I can't have an overall limit because then I would not have a vertical asymptote. I could have then the right-hand side doing something like this at 3. So this would still be a vertical asymptote. But because this is an overall limit, what that's telling me is that both of these values have to head to 0. And so this is the one that is absolutely 100% false. And so that, when it's, again, weird, right? When it's false, it's the good answer on this one. As we look down at D and E right now, what those are actually talking to us about are horizontal asymptotes, or the long-term behavior of the graph. Whenever the limit is headed to x is headed to infinity, or limit as x is headed to negative infinity, that's when you're looking at what's called the long-term behavior. It's also what you would think of as a horizontal asymptote. And so nothing about this statement here precludes either one of these two things from happening. So as x heads to infinity, we actually don't know anything about it, so it could head to 3. It could head to infinity, but nothing about this vertical asymptote that the problem is talking about stops that from happening. So these all could be true and are definitely not false statements. So the only answer on this one is option C. That is the only false answer. This question is really about understanding vertical asymptotes happen when the answer equals plus or minus infinity, and horizontal asymptotes are when the limit is x headed to infinity. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe, and also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.